Tomorrow, the Senate takes the bill up once again. Democrats are hoping the newly seated replacement for the late Robert Byrd will give them the votes to break the gridlock. And with the unemployment rate still hovering near double digits, you can bet jobs will be a key factor in the midterms, maybe the key factor. And both sides are not wasting a minute pointing fingers as campaigns ramp up. And joining me now to talk about all this is Senior Political Analyst Roland Martin, along with Senior Political Analyst Gloria Borger and Ed Rollins. Roland, let me start with you. The president made it pretty clear he thinks this is pure positioning, election year politics on both sides, possibly, but are there real honest-to-goodness principles involved here as well?
I'm not necessarily buying it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the Republicans, they have owned this narrative really for the last 12 to 14 months, and that is returning to this notion of fiscal conservatism. It is no doubt helping them when you look at the polling data. And so Democrats certainly should be seizing on, frankly, some of these crazy and outlandish comments you hear from Republicans basically saying folks are lazy and they should get back to work. I mean, it's sort of offensive to the average voter, but it's surprising how Democrats have not really created a communications mode that resonates with the average person on these issues.
Well, it is. Well, what do you think about the rhetoric, first of all, Ed? Because it hasn't seemed to help Republicans, but to Roland's point, maybe Democrats haven't made enough of it.
Well, they haven't done it well. I mean, they're off message, and they've been off message for a long time. And part of this is there's such an animosity between this White House and the Republicans. I mean, what amazes me is that in 3 or 4 months here, this president has to sit down with these same people, and there's going to be a lot more of them in the room on the other side. If he can barely put this thing together, if he thinks all of a sudden it's going to be love and forgiveness and let's go for the next 2 years and get some big programs through, he's crazy. I mean, he's got to take a high tone. He's got to make his case. He can make his case any way he wants to. But at the end of the day, he's not going to elect any of these challenged Democrats by saying Republicans basically are holding them hostage because they want to offset the spending.
Gloria, yeah, the total cost, I think, is about $33 billion to extend the benefits. Put that in the context of what that means in terms of Washington spending more generally.
Well, you know, the Democrats make the argument, okay, Republicans, you want to pay billions of dollars to extend tax cuts for the wealthy, but you don't want to do this for people who are unemployed, you know, and so that's their political argument. But it's interesting to me, the Republican political argument is making one very important calculation, Campbell, and that is that the American public is so scared of big deficits and big government that even the American public will at a certain point say, you know what, we can't afford this anymore. This is extending unemployment benefits to 99 weeks. And I think at a certain point, Republicans are going to say, okay, you want to do it? We have to find a way to pay for it. They're saying...
But Campbell,
Go ahead. Jump in, Roland. Go ahead.
Gloria, go ahead. No, Gloria, go ahead.
No, I mean, you know, Republicans are saying let's use the unused stimulus money to pay for it. I think that's disingenuous, too. You know, nobody's paying attention to the really big problem out there, the deficit. They're talking about a commission, right?
Roland, go ahead.
Campbell, the people who don't give a flip about the deficit are the people who are broke and out of work. Republicans understand that their voters are more enthusiastic, and so they are targeting those folks. And they're assuming that, you know what, they're going to come out and vote. They're going to put us in office. Right. And so what I don't understand from the White House, why they're not flooding the zone. You don't see the Commerce Secretary. You don't see the Labor Secretary. You only see the president carrying the ball. I don't understand why they're not talking to the average person to say, we are helping you. We are touching you, and we need you to keep us in office in order to help the average person. And so we have Republicans talking about tax cuts for the rich. How do you not counter that? I don't get it.
Well, they haven't used their cabinet for the last year and a half. I mean, when's the last time anybody saw Gary Locke, the Commerce Secretary?
Absolutely.
You know, a former governor of the state of Washington, a guy he's not in any meetings. He's not in any business.
But hasn't the belief always been that you have this extraordinary salesman in Barack Obama, so why would you parcel that out to members of the cabinet?
I've said this on this show for a year and a half. This guy is overused. He's not made the sale.
You nailed it.
He's not made the sale. A majority of Americans don't believe in his health care program. He's spent a year and a half doing.
And they don't believe he's focusing on anything.
Right.
You know, if he's doing so much, remember Bill Clinton focused like a laser on the economy. That's what the people would actually want. But they see that he's done health care reform. They see that he's trying to do immigration policy, now energy policy. And they want him to focus. When they see him everywhere, They don't get that sense.
Do they realize, Gloria, that there is
it.
a problem? Or is there an awareness at the White House that this is an issue?
Well, the White House believes, as Ed was saying, that Barack Obama is their best spokesman on everything, and they may be right. And so they're going to use Barack Obama whenever they can. And don't forget, his personal popularity, Campbell, remains just fine. People like him a lot more than they like his policies, in fact. So putting him out there is not a bad thing.
Hey, Campbell.
Yeah?
Hey,
ahead,
Campbell,
Roland.
real quick. Down Louisiana, you had Labor Secretary Hilda Solis in a room with some of the fishermen there. And you know what? They didn't know who she was. They just thought she was just some person from Washington. This was a member of the president's cabinet. That goes to show you that there's no name identification with this cabinet. You have to flood the zone. So if you're sending the Commerce Secretary out, he's talking to small business. Labor Secretary, she's talking to the average worker out there as well. You use all of your bodies. The president cannot say and do everything.
There's a real danger that's coming about. 41 was a well-liked man when he was defeated and had the lowest vote of any Republican in history because people didn't think he could do the job. People like Barack Obama, they're now basically don't like his policies and they're not sure he's competent as president. That's a very tough place to overcome.
Well, and that's what the oil spill has done.
Yes.
Because you see that leak and people say, well, why can't you plug it?
Certainly exacerbating it. All right, Roland Martin, Gloria Borger, Ed Rollins.
Great.
Thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.